channel. We are the ZKs. On our previous video, we were teaching you how to set up your small space gardening. So this is part 2, and we are going to be talking about designing plots, blend preps, and raised beds. So I hope you enjoy.
So thinking about designing your plots, now you have to look at your space and your land, and then also think through how do you want your garden to look like, and consider some of the challenges that you are having. So I'll be referring to some of the problems that we have in this place. One of the things that brings creativity and innovation is because of its challenges. So our challenges have inspired somehow the way we have designed our space. So this is how we did our space. We have a lot of water that comes from this side going down that way, but also our space is shaped in an archway such that it's sloping to the sides. So you need to know that for you to avoid soil erosion, you don't have to plant down the slope. The big slope is this one, but then we have the arch that goes to the side. So you don't need to set your plots to be running down the slope. They need to run across the slope. So that is one of the things that we needed to observe as we were coming into this space. So all our plots are rectangular and they are lying across the slope, not along the slope. So runoff in terms of water will come from this side going that way, so you need to be careful about that. And then now, secondly, you need to understand what do you do with the other spaces. Like when you look to my other hand, that side, we have used a lot of many different ways that we have employed in terms of the containers. So the containers are also a form of raised beds. I'll talk about them later on when we get to explore and talk more about raised beds. But then now you are having the view of the whole design. So this is how the plots are lying, and then you have your walkways in between the plots. So what inspires walkways is because you don't have to step on top of the places where you are growing your plants. So you don't need to step on top of the beds. You need to be able to walk around them. Then we will be talking about it when we talk about raised beds. But then overall, you are able to see the whole stretch, and you are able to get your water, and you are able to get your sunlight, and you have properly designed your garden space. Many people think you just need to grow your vegetables. It's not really about just growing your vegetables. It is about being able to design your garden so well, meet the challenges that are there. Think about the flow of water, how does water in terms of drainage and all that, and you are able to come up with your garden space, and then it will look good and you will like it. So I have talked about why you should design your garden space and know where to plant. And then when we will be talking about planting, I will further talk about how should you plant your vegetables, what should grow where, and how do you section them. But then once it's designed, it will also help to partition your work, and you'll be able to work easily. So now we will be going down to talk more about designing plots. So this was just a green grass patch all the way from there to the other side of the garden. So what we did doing our land preparing our land for planting, we needed to remove all the green grass that was on top, and then we tilled the soil just to make it to be into looser particles of the soil, so that it can also enhance aeration, remove the weeds, and then also improve the drainage as we do it. But then that was good because we were doing it for the first time. This space was not growing anything before, so we needed to get rid of the grass. So what we did in this space, we did that, and after we did that, then we started doing the other operations when we did raised beds. This is another method for land prep, for preparing your land. It's called solarization. Basically, you take a plastic sheet and cover the space. So what we did here, I just did not remove anything like the grass. It's still underneath here. So you cover it, you prevent water from going in directly here, sunlight, and then it will dry up. The grasses and the weeds and everything will dry up and then later decompose. It takes about 8 weeks, so it takes a long time when you are using this method. But so we are still on the way of preparing this space for planting.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is also part of land prep, because this space, because of its slopiness, I can't do much, and the soil is too wet and not good for planting. So we took our composted soil from our compost pit, put them in bags, open small holes on the back when you have laid it down, and then you plant your seedlings from there. So this is part of preparing your space for planting. Okay, so these are also called raised beds. So they were made from some of the timber that was left during our construction project. So you just make this frame and then you bring in the soil, and then you are ready to plant on it when it's like this. So this is one method here. Here it's a combination of many different things, and this is a pallet. It was just light. We laid it here and then put in a lot of soil, and then it is growing our seeds. Wow, it has germinated. That is good. Mwah. And then we have our tires here. They are growing kale and also some. So what you do with the tire, you cut the tire, remove the top part, put it here, turn it inside out, and then you put it here, put in soil, and then you can grow here. So we are overcoming the sloppiness of this part. And then that is part of what we did this side. And then here we have our zai pits. We have 2 zai pits, and then we have turned a space that was not looking any productive to a highly productive space by using many different methods. So now this is my most favorite, and also a lot of people who have come here and we have taken them through our garden, it's their number one takeaway. So it is making raised beds. It is easy, but it is also very important. You don't need to overlook it. It will change your small space gardening. So doing raised beds, they help you to have walking paths. So now once you have done the raised bed, you are not supposed to walk on top of it. 2, they will help you to the walkways, they act as water paths, which improves drainage in your garden. But also it helps when you have piled, because after you do your cultivation using a fork, a hoe, or a spade, you start piling up the soil, removing it from the walkways on top of the raised bed. So once your soil is piled up here and you have done it nicely with a rake, so it will help to improve the drainage and water going through, filtering through to the root zone of your plants. So if there is too much water here, like you have overwatered, it will go down and it can surface here. You can see we don't water here, but it is wet because of the water that comes through here. So it improves the drainage. And then it also helps you to portion or section the work that you are doing in your garden, so that you are not overwhelmed by work, in such a way that I know if I am doing operations that are done on the cabbage, I'll just be mulching or doing something on the cabbage plot. The next day I can be doing something on the spinach plot, like that. So I am not overwhelmed by work, but also it makes your garden to look nice. because everything is ordered. You know there's cabbage this side, there's spinach that side, and it will also help you when you are doing your rotation of your vegetables. So now doing raised beds becomes very, very important. When we will be talking about more practices that helps to add to your gardening, like mulching and why should you mulch, you will see that it was very important that you start with your raised beds. So this is how you just do a raised bed, but also when you are using the other ones here, they are also called raised beds. This is a form of a wooden raised bed which is made from timber. I talked about it briefly. So also this is good. And then this is zero tillage. I am not going to use a fork or a spade in this space. So today we were talking about 3 things.
Alright, so I hope you learned a lot from today's video and that it will be easier from now on to set up your garden. You know how to design it, you know how to do your land preps, and you know how to do your raised beds. So I hope you'll join us on this journey to a more food secure community and to more food secure nations. We are the ZKs. We'll see you next time.